Hello friends, welcome to QApedia, and this is our blog qapedia.com. In this particular session we are going to see the installation that we need to do when we are working with Selenium with JavaScript. The topics that we are going to cover today will be installation of IDE, the Visual Studio Code, which is the IDE that we are going to use. So we are going to install that, Node.js and NPM installation, then setting up a project, then Selenium WebDriver installation, and then setting up drivers for browsers. So let's see the first topic, Selenium WebDriver installation. So in the last session, in our previous session, we had seen the introduction to Selenium and JavaScript. Now in this session, we are going to see the installation part for the session. The softwares that we need to install or configure in order to work with Selenium with JavaScript will be IDE. So we'll use Visual Studio Code as an IDE, Node.js installation, NPM installation, Selenium WebDriver installation, and then we have to download the driver for the browser. So we are going to see everything each one by one in this session. Installation of IDE, Visual Studio Code. How to do that? We need to navigate to this particular website. When we go to this particular website, then we have to find the we have to download the Visual Studio Code installer there. That is the thing. This we need to install, and once it is downloaded, we need to run that particular installer. Once we run it, then the VS Code will be installed in a minute. So I'm not going to install it. It is already installed in my machine. So you just can use these steps, and with the help of these steps, you will be able to install Visual Studio Code easily. Then Node.js and NPM installation. So if we want to do installation for Node.js and NPM, then we need to go to this particular Node.js website, and then we have to go to this download section, and here we can see Windows installer is there. So we have to click on this Windows installer if we are working on Windows machine. If we are working on Apple machine, we need to click on this Mac OS installer. And after it is downloaded, we just need to install it. And once Node.js is installed, we need to check if it is installed or not. So for that, what we need to do, we need to go to command prompt, and we need to type node-v. So let's go to command prompt. This is the command prompt I have opened in my machine, and we'll type node-v. And then what is happening? We are getting a version. So if suppose it is resulting a version, that means Node.js is installed. But if we get an error message, then Node.js is not installed and we need to install it. Then we'll type npm-version or npm-v. So let's type that npm-v, and then again we have got a version. So that means npm is also installed in our machine. Now what is npm? npm is a node package manager, and it is a mechanism for downloading and installing the third-party packages into our project. The Selenium project that we are going to create, in that if we have to install any third-party package, then npm will be the mechanism for that. And npm is downloaded and installed alongside with the Node.js. As soon as the Node.js will be installed, npm also will be installed. Now setting up the project. Now if suppose we want to set up a project, we need to go to command prompt, and we need to change our directory. We need to go to a particular directory where we want to create project, and in that particular project we will create a folder or a new directory. For that, command is mkdir, and after creating that particular directory, a folder, in that particular folder we have to go to that folder. Again we have to change directory, and once we go inside that particular folder, we need to type npm init. We need to run this command. As soon as we will run this command, package.json file will be created and our project will be set up. So let's do that. So let's go to command prompt. This is our command prompt, and we are on C drive. So let's create a project in C drive itself. So first thing that we need to do, we need to create a folder. So we'll create a folder mkdir, and now we'll give project name, folder name, new Selenium Pro. So now this particular folder has been created. Now we need to go inside this folder, new Selenium Pro. Yeah, we need to type cd and then new Selenium Pro. Yeah, this is the correct command. So once we go inside this particular folder, we need to type npm init. We need to run this command npm init. And once we do this, then our package.json file will be created. So now we'll type package.json, then we'll click on enter, then we'll click on enter, then we'll click on enter, and that's it. Now we'll click on enter again, and now we are on this file. Now we are on this folder. Now if suppose we want to see this particular package.json file, then we can type here package.json, and this package.json file has been opened in our Visual Studio Code. This is a Visual Studio, this is the ID Visual Studio Code, and in this Visual Studio Code, in this ID, this package.json has been opened, and you can see it here. Okay, now let's close it off, and next thing that we need to do, we need to install Selenium WebDriver. So if we want to install Selenium WebDriver, then we have to go to this npm website again, and then here we have to search for Selenium WebDriver. So let's search for Selenium WebDriver. Once we search it, we click on this, and here we can see a command npm install Selenium WebDriver. This particular command we can find here. We can copy this command, and after copying this, we need to run this command in the command prompt in that particular folder where we have installed our Selenium WebDriver, where we have created our Selenium WebDriver project, Selenium project. So let's do this thing. Now run this command. Once we run this command, then our Selenium WebDriver has been installed. Now if we want to see if Selenium WebDriver has been installed or not, then we have to type here package.json. So we will type package.json in command prompt, and then we get then our package.json will be opened in IDE Visual Studio Code, and once it is open in Visual Studio Code, then we can see that Selenium WebDriver dependency is there in our package.json file. So let's go there and see. So this is our dependency, and in this dependency section, Selenium WebDriver is available. So if it is available, that means Selenium WebDriver is installed. Okay. Now we have to set up driver for browsers, because we are going to work on web application, and we will use browsers only. So we know Selenium is an automation tool which works with web application. So if we want to work with web application, we have to open a browser, and we have to perform some actions like launch the browser, navigating to URL, and all these things we can do with the help of any driver for browser. So if we want to set up a driver for browser, we need to again go to the same npm website. We need to search for Selenium WebDriver, and then we can find a list of all relevant drivers here. So you can see these are the drivers. Okay, these are the drivers for each browser. Okay, then what we need to do, we need to click on any of the driver, and we have to download as per the operating system. So let's click on our Firefox Gecko driver, and then we have to come down, and this is our Windows 64 bits operating system, and for this particular system we will download this Gecko driver, or driver for browser. Then we should go to the folder where it is available, and here we can see it is available, and we can extract it. Now we can see that this is the path of this particular Gecko driver. So what we can do, we can take this path, and then we have to copy this path, and we have to go to environment variables, and in environment variables there will be an environment variable name path, and there we have to add this particular path. Okay, so let's go to environment variables. Once we go to environment variables, we can see here path is there, we can add it here, and in system variables also we can add it here, we can add the path here, and that's it. Now okay, now these are some things that we need to do if we want to work with Selenium WebDriver. So these are the installation that we have to do. So let's look at the summary of the session. So we have covered some topics today, like installation of IDE, Node.js and NPM installation, setting up a project, Selenium WebDriver installation, and setting up driver for browser. So that's it for the session. Thank you very much, guys.